So, have you ever started something without actually knowing where it would take you? That's pretty much how my journey began. I'm Prabhav Krishna, a CSE student and engineering student, and for me, technology was never just about writing code. It started with curiosity. I was always interested in understanding how things work, but at some point, I wanted to go beyond simply using technology. I wanted to build, and that changed the way I started learning. Instead of asking, what do I have to study? I started asking, what can I create with what I know? That question pushed me towards web development, UI UX, and building real projects. But the journey wasn't always straightforward. There were projects that didn't work. There were ideas that looked great on paper but failed when I actually tried to build them. There were times when I had to start again, learn something completely new, and figure things out along the way. And honestly, that becomes one of the most important parts of my learning. Realized that failure isn't the opposite of progress. Sometimes it's a process that creates the progress. One project that really shaped this mindset was Artist Color Lab. The idea was just simple: use technology to make paint mixing and color selection easier. Building it meant dealing with UI design, databases, authentication, deployment, and a lot of problems that I hadn't encountered before. But instead of seeing those problems as roadblocks, I started seeing them as things that I needed to understand. And that became a pattern in my journey. So I learned, I build, something breaks, I figure it out, and then I build again. That's probably the simplest way to describe how I work. But there's another thing I've learned. Having skills isn't enough. You also need to know how to communicate those skills. That's where personal branding and storytelling come in. The way you present yourself can determine whether people simply see a list of skills or whether they understand the person behind those skills. For me, my personal brand isn't about saying that I'm the best developer in the room. It's about showing that I'm curious, adaptable, willing to learn, and most importantly, willing to build. Because I believe a good developer just shouldn't ask, what technology should I use? A good developer should ask, what problem am I actually solving? That mindset is something I wanted to carry forward. I want to keep building projects that solve real problems, keep improving my technical and creative skills, and eventually work on technology that has impact beyond just a screen. So if I had to describe my story in one sentence, it would be this. I'm not someone who knows everything, but I'm someone who keeps learning until I can build something meaningful. And I think that's what makes the journey worth telling, because every builder has a story. This is mine. Thank you.